Okay, I just realized I was not audible earlier. So, yeah. Hi, everyone. A very good evening to all of you. I am Nikita and I welcome you to this session, The Final Mile. We will talk about the VARC mindset, the mindset with which you should go into the exam, right? And of course, I'll also discuss some of your queries. In case you have any last minute queries, you can ask me. Okay? Just confirm once that I am, in fact, audible to all of you. Okay, maybe my chat is not updated. Let me just open it once again. Yes, okay. Finally, Pranjal has confirmed that I am audible, visible. So, yes, we can start with the session. So, how are you feeling? Yes, before we start, कैसा लग रहा है? How is the prep going? What are you doing these days? I just want to hear from you. Good evening, Aryan. Hi, Khushi. Good evening, Giraj. Bad score in VRC. Okay. So, Pranjal, I would really uh, advise this that, go for some of your CAT previous year papers. Maybe just attempting the VRC section as a sectional, right? CAT 24, CAT 23, and see your performance there. Because what I hear is that maybe it is possible that you're taking some difficult sectionals right now. For instance, I told you that some of the Rodha sectionals after 28 they are tricky, right? So look for the actual level at this stage. डर लग रहा है दैट्स गुड स्कैर्ड एंड नर्वस इज फाइन यस यू स्ट्रेस आई एम श्योर यू वर्ड ऑफ द कॉन्सेप्ट ओके लेट मी जस्ट राइट डाउन द स्पेलिंग ऑल्दो मुझे पता है आप सबको भी पता है बट स्टिल let me just write it down here. You stress. Good stress. Yes. So, a little amount of stress is good for you. Yes, it is good for ensuring that you also perform. You're not lethargic. So just have that amount of stress. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं लेना. ठीक है? Okay. All right. पहले 30-40 आता था. Okay. So Aditi is saying सोचता हूँ वो कितने मासूम थे कैसे क्या हो गए देखते देखते that's what I hear. Okay, so again, as before we begin, my advice to you is this, that please attempt a couple of past year papers. You can attempt them as sectionals. Just go for the VRC section in case VRC is making you a bit jittery, because I think it will give you confidence. Okay, you can go for CAT 23, let's say one slot, let's say slot 2. Okay, for CAT 2024, again you could pick up one slot 2 or 3, whichever you want. Okay, so just look at the actual level at this stage. Okay, all right, now okay, so Manusha, so Brijesh sir and I were discussing this, that this word dropping suddenly and dropping drastically has become so mainstream in our lives right now, like the teachers' lives right now, because a lot of students are facing this. And the antidote to that is to notice if it is the exam pressure or the time pressure that is leading to this drop, and B, going for the actual level only at this stage, nothing more difficult. Okay, एग्ज़ाम में तो ये आपको रफली इसी लेवल को फेस करना है, राइट? इट कुड बी डिफ़िकल्ट, यस, मोर डिफ़िकल्ट, यस, बट इफ़ अगर हम पैटर्न को देखें, ट्रेंड को देखें, तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि बहुत ड्रास्टिकली ईजी आ गया या ड्रास्टिकली डिफ़िकल्ट हो गया, राइट? सो यू हैव प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर द वर्स्ट. नाउ इज़ द टाइम टू जस्ट चेक द एक्चुअल लेवल. Okay, 23 slot 2 got 31, missed all 2 PJs by one sequence. Okay, should have done better. See, 31 Nilendra still means that you are getting a 95 percentile plus. That is still a 95 percentile plus. Okay, so it's okay. Now you've learned this, that okay, in sequence para jumbles, this is the mistake that I made. So in case, let's say you want to bank on sequence para jumbles, although I would suggest that notice which are the other areas where you made mistakes, or which are the other, let's say you could have attempted more questions. If that is the case, focus there. But if you feel that okay, this is something that I can work on, definitely, just practice 7-8 sequence parajumble questions today. Yeah, the solution is right in front of you. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll walk you through step by step as to what to do in these days, what to do on 29th November, what to do on the 30th, right? Because these are the queries that I get a lot these days, okay? So this is what I'll walk you through, and if you have any queries, you can just keep on asking in the chat box, right? And I'll answer. So till 28th November, if you wish to, you can take one full length mock, because see, if let's say you take one tomorrow and analyze it the day after, so 27th को लिया, 28th को analyze कर लिया, बस हो गया. Or you can also take a couple of sectionals. For instance, I just suggested 2024, 2023. If you want 2022 का एक VRC sectional. Okay, so if you want, you can do this. And of course, revising quant formulae, any learnings that you've noted down someplace, okay, at some place. So learnings from those mistakes, you can just revise. Okay, so this is what you can do till the 28th. तो ये तो आई थिंक सबने प्लान कर ही रखा होगा, एंड यू कैन इनकॉर्पोरेट दिस, स्पेशली PYQs बेस्ड ऑन माई सजेशन. ठीक है, अब I call it basic hygiene, because I feel that this is something that you should have done. Okay, if not, do it today, tomorrow. Print out your admit card, attach your photograph, the same that you actually put while submitting. Carry, okay, just keep one ID card in a bag probably, or wherever you feel you'll remember to carry it on the exam day. Also check the distance and the time that you are likely to take to the center. So my suggestion will be, whatever the time of your slot is, उस time पर देखो कितना time लग रहा है, right, to reach your center. Okay, so if let's say you have a 12:30 slot, so just see around 11:30, okay, to 12, what's the approximate time to your center, and accordingly make your plan, okay, to reach the center. Of course, just add in 15-20 minutes account, or maybe half an hour for the traffic, right? तो ये बिल्कुल बेसिक हाइजीन है, ये सबको अभी तक अभी, if you've not done it now till now, do it, right? It will just reduce your mental load. Okay, one thing sorted in life. And what to do on the 29th November. So 28th तक हम probably एक full length mock दे देंगे, maybe a couple of sectionals we'll see. So what to do on the 29th? You just have to relax. Okay, so in psychology there is a concept called the waste day. Okay, so waste day is not a day wasted. Waste day is when you wake up with no agenda at all. कोई एजेंडा नहीं है उस दिन, ठीक है. यू नॉट वेंट ऑन कंप्लीटिंग वेरियस टास्क. ये नहीं कि अच्छा आज कुछ नहीं करे तो घर की सफाई कर लेते हैं. नो, नथिंग लाइक दैट, राइट. यू जस्ट रिलैक्स, नो एजेंडा. ऑफ कोर्स यू डोंट बिंज वॉच, यू डोंट डूम स्क्रॉल. नो, these actually increase your fatigue. Okay, this might have consequences for the 30th, so no. Okay, so you just do light relaxing activities, taking short strolls, spending time with nature if that relaxes you, doing things with your hands, let's say for instance cooking for some people, tending to your plants for others, drawing, कुछ भी जो मन करे, ठीक है. रिलैक्स करना है 29th को. All right. And trust me, waste day is actually a productive day. A lot of people think कि अच्छा कुछ नहीं करा आज तो, but your mind is simply processing, assimilating, categorizing all that you've learned in the past week. That is what is happening on a waste day. All right? Overthinking नहीं हो गया. अच्छा, अब मैं उसका भी fix दे देती हूँ कुछ. प्रांजल, don't worry. Stranger Things का last. Okay. एक सीजन, नो सुचित, if you're asking me that, not at all, right? So maybe one episode, okay, all right, but not more, because it does result in fatigue हमारी, not just for our eyes but also for our brain, right? Okay, reading a light book definitely recommended, Anurag. So you can read perhaps something that's very light, something that's maybe even comedic in nature. For instance, PG Wodehouse, if some of you like him. Okay, so very light reading it is, and hilarious. So yes, you can do that. बिल्कुल मंदिर जाओ, जा सकते हो. मैं मॉक लगा रहा हूँ तो VRC में कम मार्क्स आ रहे हैं, 20 to 22, पहले 30 आ रहे थे. तो अंकुर एक बार एज आई सजेस्टेड एक बार प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर देखो, उसमें भी कम आ रहे हैं कि नहीं. अगर उसमें नहीं आ रहे हैं देन आई डोंट थिंक यू हैव अ लॉट टू वरी अबाउट. ओके, कल की ओके. Fiction, yes, fiction I always suggest it. Right. So, I am sure you have seen this picture. You know what it stands for. So, what to do right before the exam. Now, and you can do this on the 29th as well, as somebody was saying, overthinking hogi. Thoda sa deep breathing, okay? And especially in the few minutes before the exam starts, this has worked for some of the students. Okay, some of my students who messaged me and said that थोड़ा panicky feel हो रहा है, okay, and concentration में problem आ रही है. So I just suggested this to them and it worked for them. So that's why I am now suggesting it to you. Deep breathing, let's say just 5-6 deep breaths, right? You can follow this 4-4-4 pattern. Inhale 4, hold 4, and then exhale 4. It may sound cliched to you or it may sound comical to some of you, but trust me, it works. एकदम से रिलैक्सिंग फीलिंग आती है, एंड स्पेशली फॉर दोज हु हैवंट प्रैक्टिस दिस अर्लियर, ट्रस्ट मी, उनको और ज़्यादा आती है, राइट? इट्स जस्ट लाइक लूजिंग, व्हेन यू सेट आउट टू लूज वेट, एकदम से लूज होता है इनिशियली. इट्स जस्ट लाइक दैट विद डीप ब्रीदिंग, एकदम से रिलैक्सिंग फील होता है, राइट? 3 से सही हो रहे हैं एनी टॉपिक, दैट्स ग्रेट. देन अंकुर, वाई आर यू देन बीइंग सो हार्शली सेल्फ क्रिटिकल? दैट मीन्स वो जो लेवल नीडेड है वो लेवल है, राइट? Okay, now you can also go for some gratitude. Okay, so 3 things you can recall, 3 things that you're grateful for. तो आपका mind again overthink नहीं करेगा, positive चीज़ों की तरफ सोचेगा, and our happy hormones are released when we think about positive things, right? So automatically anxiety, negative feelings down चली जाएंगी. So you could do this, you could do this. Okay, so for instance, I do my morning gratitude every day. Now it has become a habit like brushing. तो मैं ब्रश करते करते भी कर लेती हूँ अगर मेरे पास टाइम नहीं होता तो, राइट? एंड फॉर ग्राउंडिंग देयर इज दिस एक्सरसाइज. अगर उस टाइम पर लगे कि एंग्जाइटी फील हो रही है, देन इन दैट केस देयर इज दिस एक्सरसाइज 5-4-3-2-1, विच इज़ वेरी ग्राउंडिंग इन नेचर, इन द सेंस दैट इट कीप्स यू इन द प्रेजेंट. ओके, 5 थिंग्स दैट आई सी, मे बी 4 थिंग्स दैट आई हियर, 3 थिंग्स दैट आई कैन टच, बिल्कुल मेरी इमीडिएट विसिनिटी में है, लेट्स से कंप्यूटर. Okay, then for 2 things that I hear, oh sorry, hear हो गया ना, 2 things that I can smell, 1 thing that I can taste. So you can do this. ठीक है, this is right before the exam. Now let me read some of your queries. Slot 3 है, पूरा दिन क्या करूँ? Anurag has a good question. So again Anurag, slot 3 है, आई अंडरस्टैंड थोड़ा सा लेट होगा. तो जो 29th नवंबर को आपने करा है, राइट? सो मे बी फॉर यू ऑन 29th यू कुड रिवाइज सम फॉर्मूले एट्सेट्रा, एंड देन ऑन 29th यू कुड completely relax, right? Till the time before leaving for your center, before that time again relax ही करना है, ठीक है? पूरा दिन ये नहीं है कि you're just running to every other YouTube channel and looking for okay क्या आया था पेपर में, क्या नहीं आया था. If you just want to see the exam pattern, maybe then let's say whichever your group is, if let's say you're enrolled with us, you must have a batch group, उसमें बस एक बार देख लो कि क्या पैटर्न आया था, राइट? और मे बी यू कैन ट्यून इन टू द एनालिसिस, बट उसमें भी बहुत घुस घुस के नहीं देखना है, राइट? सो जस्ट द फोकस शुड बी ऑन रिलैक्सिंग. ओके, नेवी सील्स यूज दिस. ओके, सृष्टि आपने क्या पूछा था? VRC में ही यही सेक्शन ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है मैम? प्लीज़ टेल मी. लास्ट मिनट क्या करूँ? एटलीस्ट 30-35 स्कोर कर लूँ. सो सृष्टि, what is your current score? And again, as I suggested earlier, if in case it is induced by panicking during the exam or test pressure during the exam, then trust me, deep breathing works wonders right before the exam as well as during the exam. If things become overwhelming, just pause and take even 1 to 2 deep breaths work, right? And secondly, it is possible that you are practicing very difficult mocks right now or very difficult sectionals right now. Don't do that. Just look at the actual paper, previous year papers, and that will help you to gauge your real performance. Okay. All right. मेरे पहले ओके पी वाई क्यू दिया, उसमें 26 आए हैं और किसी में 28. So 26 to 28 is not that big a range, right? That is fine. Okay, and 28 would mean somewhere around 93 to 94 percentile. Okay. Yes, Anurag, I would also recommend that. Badminton, absolutely. See, if yes, any physical activity works for you, definitely. I just meant that you don't have to indulge in it excessively. That 4-5 hours badminton खेल लिया, अब कल हो रहा है पेन, बॉडी एक हो रहा है, नहीं. So yes, absolutely go for it. Okay. अच्छा, now 2 days before exam, अभी मैं यही बता रही हूँ कार्तिक. Okay. हाँ. Now what to do when the exam starts? तब क्या करना है? So tell me, I'm sure all of you have a broad strategy in mind. Okay, these many RCs usually, as much way as I can attempt. एक broad strategy सबके mind में होगी. बताओ क्या क्या हैं सबके strategies? I would like to hear from you. Okay. अच्छा, yes आ रहा है. Okay, all right. 3 RC plus VA. All right. Yeah, so this is our broad strategy, right? 3 RCs plus as much VA as we can attempt. So this is called a roadmap, and this is flexible. Because why am I saying flexible? Because for instance, in CAT 2022, a new question type, missing sentence, was introduced. In CAT 2024, we didn't have any sequence parajumbles. Okay, no sequence parajumbles were there. So similarly, you could have variation in one question type this year as well. We don't know, right? So just have this broad roadmap. Then when you go to the exam, look at the question paper first. When you look at the VRC question paper, you'll use it for prioritizing RCs. आप उसको पढ़ के अपने RCs prioritize करेंगे in let's say 1 minute. And also you can look at broadly what question types are there in VA, right? So this will form a blueprint then. Okay, then you'll decide, okay, these are my RCs, this is my order. Okay, and then in question types, this is all that I have. So I will try to attempt, let's say if there is a new question type, I will try to attempt it. Okay, if sequence pages make a comeback, you can make a call whether you want to be selective in them or whether you want to focus on the other questions. तो ये आप उस टाइम पे blueprint form करोगे after looking at the question paper. And what do I have to do? I have to capitalize on the opportunities and the strengths that I already know that I have. राइट, तो एग्जाम स्टार्ट के फर्स्ट मिनट में आपको ये करना है, प्रायोरिटाइजिंग आरसीज एंड जस्ट ब्रॉडली लुकिंग एट द क्वेश्चन टाइप्स. ओके, which slots are easy? That's a question that I don't think anybody can answer, right, Lakshika? So during the VRC section, see your entire paper. What is it about? It is simply about your being able to demonstrate that you're good managers, you're good planners, कि आप टाइम कॉन्स्ट्रेंट्स को स्टिक कर सकते हो, उनको मैनेज कर सकते हो, राइट? दैट यू डोंट पैनिक इन केस यू एनकाउंटर अ डिफिकल्ट आरसी, यू आर एबल टू चेंज योर स्ट्रैटेजी. ओके, सो you have to demonstrate that those managerial abilities even in the VRC section. So practice this, feeling this quality that we call equanimity. I am sure ये सबने पढ़ा है word. It's a high frequency word. What does it mean? बताओ. Ankur, I would suggest that don't be out of touch with VRC. राइट, आई एम जस्ट आंसरिंग योर क्वेरी कि अभी VRC करूँ या नहीं. बिल्कुल आउट ऑफ टच मत जाओ. एक सेक्शनल दे दो, मे बी लेट्स से इन दीज 3-4 days एक सेक्शनल दे दो एटलीस्ट, राइट? बिल्कुल आउट ऑफ टच मत जाओ. ओके, इक्वानिमिटी का मीनिंग नहीं बताया मुझे किसी ने. आई एम जस्ट waiting for calmness. Okay, basically if I look at the meaning etymologically, anonymity, anim means mind. So even mindedness, जब हमारा माइंड ऐसे ऐसे वेव्स की तरह फ्लक्चुएट नहीं करता है, even mindedness, that is equanimity, right? So practice that. There might be times when you know even after attempting a question, you are not very sure, you're not 100% sure about its answer. That's okay. You have given the best that you could to this question. Now proceed. Right? This is equanimity. Not being emotionally attached to questions, not carrying any emotional baggage. Okay? And of course, you know this, ये तो मुझे बताने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, that you have to eliminate. Right? Yes, correct, Navya. मार्क्स नहीं दिए हैं क्योंकि अगर मार्क्स कम आ जाएंगे तो कॉन्फिडेंस लो हो जाएगा. ओके रौनक, इफ दिस वर्क्स फॉर यू, नथिंग लाइक इट. हाउएवर जस्ट एंश्योर कि आउट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस ना हो जाओ, राइट? तो मतलब कि बस इन प्रैक्टिस रहना चाहिए, यू नो दैट यू शुड बी एबल टू सिट फॉर 2 hours, हैव दैट एंड्योरेंस, हैव दैट स्टैमिना. ओके, सो दैट शुड बी देयर. ओके, Stoicism, absolutely, Smriti. This is what Stoicism teaches us. This is what we ended the last session on. This was my advice to you when we had our last session, yes? In every RC there are 2 inferential and 2. नहीं, ऐसे कुछ theory नहीं है सुचित. Please don't listen to anybody who's telling you this. And in every RC you won't have 2 direct questions. If that were the case, that means there would be straight away 8 doable questions. Okay? तो ऐसा नहीं होता है CAT में. Okay, so why have I put this passage excerpt here? Now this is from CAT 2023 slot 2. In case you have not taken the paper, or you just plan to take it as a sectional, you can just not read it. But I just wanted to show you something through this example. So just giving you 1 minute, एक बार ये read करो, ठीक है? And then I'll just discuss it with you. Okay, it's an excerpt, it's not the whole passage. Para 1 and para 2. Read. Done? Okay. So, when you started reading this, did the first paragraph feel more difficult as compared to the second paragraph? Did that happen? Tell me. No, okay. Yes. All right. Um, right. So this is common. This is human. Okay. That when we start reading something, initially it might appear to be slightly more difficult. Right. But as we get into the groove, we find it, we are able to get more context. है ना? हाँ, मेन पॉइंट पकड़ना है. एंड जैसे जैसे हमें ज़्यादा ज़्यादा कॉन्सेप्ट मिलता जाता है, यू नो, we start finding it easier. And in fact, here the language of the second passage is also much easier than the first, of the second para is much easier than the first para, right? So through this, I wanted to demonstrate to you that sometimes it pays off to go to para 2. A lot of times students just read para 1 and decide कि although मैंने ये select करा था at the third position and maybe there was some other passage at the fourth, or maybe you selected it at the second position, they feel अच्छा this is a wrong selection, let me just go to another passage, ये selection सही नहीं था, कोई और करता हूँ attempt. But my point here is that you've just read the first paragraph. Sometimes after reading the second paragraph, you get more context and you're able to understand it better. If even after reading the second paragraph you're not able to get any context, any main idea, okay, in that case of course it makes sense to switch to another passage. Tab don't just stick to this just because okay I've read 2 paragraphs. If within the first minute you feel that this passage is horrible and I'm not able to get anything, then please switch. However, if within the first minute when you reach para 2 you're able to get a sense of what the passage is about, please continue. This is what I wanted to show you through this example. Okay, because there are these common queries that I've been getting, and one of them is that when should I continue reading a passage or when should I leave it if I feel initially that it was a bad selection. Okay, I shouldn't have put it at the second position. So when should I continue, when should I leave? This answers your question. Okay. All right, 1 to 2 lines of each para and main topic क्या चल रहा है उसको देखती हूँ. Okay. All right. Yes, if this works for you. Now, so अच्छा, there is a para summary related query which I find very interesting that पहले हो जाता था para summary, अब नहीं हो रहा है. So I think what may have changed is that because we practice a lot of RC passages also, we become used to inferring. We become used to drawing conclusions. But in para summary, you don't have to draw conclusions on your own. Focus on coverage. Okay, which option covers most of the points or all the key points of the paragraph, rather than focusing on what inference can be drawn from this paragraph. That is not the question, right? So I know you must be thinking ये तो आपने बहुत बार बता दिया, but ये फिर भी students बहुत बार mistake करते हैं because they are so used to inferring in RCs. Okay, so try this and maybe it will help. Okay, now some common queries that I have been getting. What should be my target attempt, right? So there is no one size fits all answer to this. You all know it depends on whether VRC is your strength or not, how much percentile are you aiming from VRC, right? But if I had to give you a range, of course इससे ज़्यादा भी कर सकते हो, but I would suggest minimum 15 सबको करना चाहिए. तो अगर आप 15 to 18 questions करते हो, let's say with a good accuracy, 75% accuracy के साथ, so for instance if you attempted 15 questions, right, with 75% accuracy, that would mean what? आपके 11 approximately सही हुए, ठीक है, और 4 negative let's say हो गया, maybe 3 negative हुआ, so somewhere around 29 or 30, that will still give you a 95 percentile. So basically मुझे 95 percentile तो target करना ही करना है in any case. So somewhere around this range, okay, so minimum 15 and then maximum you can go whatever you are capable of, whatever you think you can, but keep in mind the accuracy, right? ओके, हाउ टू गेट श्योरिटी इन द मार्क्ड आंसर्स, बिल्कुल यही वाला देखो, ये वाला पॉइंट, हाँ ये अभी करते हैं डिस्कस. टाइम डिविजन, नाउ अगेन नो वन साइज फिट्स ऑल, बट आई फर्मली बिलीव दैट VA नीड्स एट लीस्ट योर 10 minutes. VA को आपके 10 minutes चाहिए, ओके, उतना मिनिमम चाहिए VA को. सो you know then that the rest of the time, so maybe it may be 28 plus 12 for some of you, it may be 30 plus 10 for some of you. RC plus VA का time division. Any important ism words to go through? Just a second. In the remaining days, I took a session on all these isms, right? Essential terms to tackle difficult genre passages. तो एक बार वो you can just look at those words, right? If not, watch the entire session, right? देन सम स्टूडेंट्स हैव दिस क्वेरी दैट भाई हम फ्लो में नहीं आ पाते, हमें ना लाइक इन द फर्स्ट RC वी स्पेंड an inordinate amount of time. We spend around 15 minutes in the first RC. In the second RC, it somehow does not take this much time. So for this, I have already suggested this to you that you can start with some VA. So I really like the strategy that one of you just gave me earlier. Yes, easy PS and PC. Prathmesh said this. Then 3 RCs in the order of priority. Then 3 to 4 solid VA attempts. So in case getting into the flow is problematic for you, don't straight away go for an RC. Go for some VA questions, then some RCs, and then some VA. So you can sandwich your RCs, your RC in between VA like this. ठीक है? Now, fourth, श्योरिटी इन द मार्क्ड आंसर्स. भाई श्योरिटी कैसे लेके आऊँ, मैं है ही नहीं श्योरिटी, 100% श्योरिटी नहीं आती. नाउ सी, इफ़ यू सॉल्व एनी ऑफ योर मॉक विदाउट अ टाइम कॉन्स्ट्रेंट, नो, you will sometimes even get 100% accuracy even in VARC. That can happen because without a time constraint, all of us have, it's not a matter of understanding, no, that हमें समझ ही नहीं आता, हमें time constraint में समझना, that's the challenge. So cat also knows this. So as managers also, see, in life it is very rare that we have 100% surety even in the major decisions. Yes, so they are also trying to build this habit in you that the moment you have 70-80% surety, just mark an option and proceed. 100% it may never come, right? And you may just end up with these emotional carryovers if you look for 100% surety कि मार्क तो कर दिया पर मन अभी भी उसी क्वेश्चन में पड़ा हुआ है, right? So don't do this. Don't aim for 100% surety. The moment 70-80%, probability is your friend, okay, just like timer. So probability को अपना friend बनाओ और surety को मत बनाओ, ठीक है? When to continue ये हम discuss कर चुके हैं. Yes, there is an opportunity cost. Absolutely, Prathmesh. We call it opportunity cost, the cost of missed alternatives. Because if I spend 3 minutes on this question and then I mark it after being 100% sure, I have actually sacrificed one question that probably was easy in the paper. Right? So, absolutely correct. Okay, now let me just take up some queries. Marks are decent. Okay. So, Yash, it's probably because maybe your accuracy has increased. That could be the case. So you can just see if that is the case. Accuracy agar increase ho gayi hai, so I think that trade off is okay. All right, then 15 to 18 questions में 12 to 14 सही होता है, पर कभी बस 6 to 8. So Apurv, you have to then analyze those papers where you are getting only 6 to 8 correct, right? As to what went wrong there, why this high in accuracy. So उसको बहुत drill down analysis करना है. I even made a video on that. तो उसको एक बार देखो जो incorrect questions हैं वो क्यों हुए. And sometimes it's also because you're not in that mind space on some days. So एक ही टाइम पर दो मॉक्स उस माइंड स्पेस में ताकि आप आ जाओ हर दिन उसी टाइम, राइट? 25 या 30 PYQ में 20+ आ ही नहीं रहा. ओके, सो अगेन कबीर फिर उसको एनालाइज करो. एंड RCMs, आर दीज द इनिशियल RCMs? Because a couple of initial RCMs they were easy. You were just starting with mocks, so initial mocks बहुत ज़्यादा difficult हमने नहीं बनाए थे. Okay. Alright, accuracy is almost same. My median score is around 35. Okay, you're just being a little cautious. That is what is happening, Yash. So what I feel, I'll genuinely answer this question. In the exam, I do take 1 to 2 calculated risks. 1-2 questions में मैं calculated risk लेती हूँ, where I feel that okay, I am around 60% sure, not 70-80, but I would still mark. Okay. However, I don't do this for more than 2 questions because this is CAT. It's not a very easy exam, right? So question का average जो level है वो let's say it's going to be more difficult than an average exam or an easier exam. Like for example, I'm not devaluing demeaning, but बैंक पीओ में questions usually easy आते हैं. It's more of a time game. ठीक है, तो कैट में वैसा नहीं है. क्वेश्चन का एवरेज लेवल थोड़ा हाई ही है, तो 1 to 2 से ज़्यादा मैं नहीं लेती हूँ कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क, बट 1 to 2 में ले लेती हूँ मैं, राइट. सो वी डोंट हैव टू बी ओवर कॉशियस एंड वी डोंट हैव टू बी जस्ट वेरी रेकलेस. एक बैलेंस. इफ यू फील यू ऑलरेडी हैव दैट बैलेंस, यस, देन इट्स फाइन. ओके, RC selection में to properly take advantage of the VRC factor. So Shrey, as I always say, 40 प्लस पे 99 प्लस था लास्ट ईयर, 44 पे 99.5 था. ठीक है, तो इफ़ लेट्स से प्रॉपरली एडवांटेज लेना है, देन यू कैन एम फॉर दिस, राइट. ओके, ऑल राइट, देन लेट्स सी. ओके, या I had this picture for you. So this is a dog, perhaps, yes, a puppy whose head is stuck in a watering can. So this actually represents people who say I get stuck in a question, and I just want to show you how this is counterproductive if you are stuck in a question, right? Because then you're not able to see clearly. You might even get that particular question incorrect. I am sure this has happened with a lot of you. बहुत टाइम बिताया फिर भी गलत हो गया, right? So the moment you realize, if within one minute you have narrowed down to 2 options, good, go ahead with this question. If in the next 1 minute, although it should be 30 seconds, but even if within the next 1 minute you're able to narrow down to 1, mark it. If not, okay, 1.5 minutes के बाद भी अगर लग रहा है कि बिल्कुल नहीं समझ में आ रहा है इन दोनों में से, प्लीज़ प्रोसीड. ये मत करो, ठीक है. ऑल राइट, एंड यस, दिस पॉइंट is very important. जो भी टाइप इन द आंसर क्वेश्चंस हैं, बी इट ऑड वन आउट और बी इट सीक्वेंस पैरा जुम्बल, डू नॉट लीव देम ब्लैंक. ओके, जस्ट टाइप इन समथिंग, कुछ टाइप कर दो, 1 2, यहाँ पे कोई भी नंबर आउट ऑफ दीज, या यहाँ पे कोई भी एक रैंडम सीक्वेंस. यू कैन जस्ट डिसाइड इन एडवांस, ओके, एंड गो एंड टाइप इन दैट. एंड this is something that is relevant for an RC passage as well as for VA, because I see students spending a lot of time in para summary specifically. कि para summary में 4 मिनट में एक question attempt कर रहे हैं. No, not worth it. You don't have to reread a paragraph. Okay, in fact it should be, don't read a paragraph more than twice. एक बार पढ़ लिया ठीक है, कई बार नहीं समझ में आता हमें para summary में, it is required to maybe read it again, but more than twice, not worth it. Okay. So remember this for PS, also applies to your RC passages, right? Okay. और कोई accuracy, all right. RC selection में problem हो रहा है उदय. I have taken sessions on that, where in fact in marathon, in the last marathon also, जो बिल्कुल latest हुआ था उसमें हमने यही करा था. We selected passages, remember? So you can watch that. Okay, now what to do after the VRC section? क्या करें after the VRC section? So a lot of students tell me, अगर VRC खराब चला जाता है ना, somehow there is a domino effect. Yes? So that then I carry over that frustration to the other sections. See, again, this is management. CAT is so much about management and so much about psychology. Okay, it is a paper that is already testing you how good managers you can become and how you manage difficulties. एक section अगर बुरा चला भी गया, God forbid, but VRC let's say नहीं अच्छा गया on the D-Day, that shouldn't have a bearing on the other sections because you still have those 2 sections. Okay, it is possible that you perform so well here that even if you just clear the cutoff here, you will be okay. You don't have to become masters of English on that day or masters of VRC, right? So इसको बिल्कुल ये गोलम mindset है. When students feel कि एक VRC ही my precious है, यही बिल्कुल सही जानी चाहिए और ये खराब गई तो सब खत्म. No, you do not know till the time the result comes whether everything, I mean, whether it's the end or not. So don't act like it's the end just because of one section, and it holds for every section here, not just VRC. Yes, बिल्कुल भूल जाओ, absolutely. So it's a new day when you go for DILR. So yes, if you feel that the section, maybe you're very unsure after the VRC section, you feel like that, one deep breath or two deep breaths as you begin DILR. Just okay, they'll calm you down, they'll ground you into the present section. Okay. PYQ VRC scores are lower. Mostly students have reported the opposite, Dhanush. They find that they are able to do PYQs and score better there. So, एक बार again analyze करो. I made this video on how to analyze VRC section. So just watch that, analyze your mistakes once, and you have a number of PYQs, right? तो एक बार analysis करके note down करो, learn करो उससे, and then try not to repeat them in the maybe CAT 22 papers, right? That you attempt. Okay. Now, although VRC does not have any formula, it doesn't work on that, but I still want you to remember this: preparation plus strategy in the context of whatever kind of paper comes for you. Okay, 24 questions, whatever types of questions come. So both your prep and your strategy matter, right? You have prepared enough. First, I need you to believe in this preparation. Okay, अगर ऐसा भी हो रहा है कि recently score dip हो रहा है, then trust me, you can't unlearn what you already learned. तो ये मत सोचो कि अभी अगर एक दो मॉक से स्कोर डिप हुआ, दैट मीन्स ऐसा ही रहेगा. यू नेवर नो हाउ द पेपर विल बी एंड हाउ यू परफॉर्म देयर. Strategy, I am sure you already have it in place, and be a little flexible about it. So this will see you. So belief plus, I should say, flexibility is what will see you through. Right? Okay. Best time management for VRC, Apurv. We should join when the session begins. So as I said, 30 plus 10 or 28 plus 12. Okay. Now here also, treat it like, if in case you attempt 3 RCs, you should treat it like 3 RC topic tests. So 10 minutes per RC, not more than that. Okay, so usually 9 minutes are enough for an RC, what I have observed. So you do have this kind of time for VA if you're attempting 3 RCs. 3 RC strategy जिन students किया वो बहुत comfortably कर सकते हैं attempt RCs and VA. In case, however, you are aiming for 4 RCs plus VA, right? Again, the time division remains this, 28 plus 12 or 30 plus 10 in this case. So you now have relatively less time. Usually 8 minutes is what you have to confine yourself to. Okay, 7.5 minutes rather. ठीक है? Attending 16 questions but getting a lot of them incorrect. So accuracy is a concern. In that case, इस stage पर जो भी questions incorrect हो रहे हैं, resolve them, then check the answer, and then reflect on why you got it incorrect. Basically, which is the trap that you missed. You can make an Excel, उसको note down कर सकते हो कहीं पर कि ये trap miss हो गया, ये trap, अच्छा ये तो काफ़ी broad था, how did I mark this? So this is what I missed. So note that down and try not to repeat that in the next mock. All right. What else? FMS ये हो गया. Okay. I think I've addressed any query that I've not addressed. You can just RC select करने के बाद लगता है कि गलत RC चॉइस कर लिया, तो उसका भी उदय, you joined late. तुमने पूछी थी ये क्वेरी पहले भी. So I suggested a solution to that as well. अगर ऐसा लग रहा है ना, पैरा 1 में अगर ये फीलिंग आ रही है, that's okay. Still continue to para 2. But if even after para 2, that means even after 1 minute you get this feeling, कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा, तो 1 minute ही हुआ है ना अभी, that's okay. Switch to another passage. And if after para 2 you feel, okay, now I have more context, I think I'll be able to attempt it, then proceed. एंड इन केस यू स्टिल यू कुड स्टिल हैव दिस फीलिंग कि ये फिर भी टफ तो है, उतना ईजी नहीं है जितना सोचा था, देन यू कैन बी सेलेक्टिव विद द क्वेश्चंस. सो सारे क्वेश्चंस मत अटेम्प्ट करो फिर, मे बी 2 questions or 3 questions, not all 4. What should be the time cap for para summary? You should try to attempt it in 2 minutes. Sometimes it will take you 2 minutes 10 seconds, right? Sometimes it will spill over. Sometimes the para summary question could be easy, it will take you just 1 minute and 45 seconds, right? So average जो होना चाहिए वो ये होना चाहिए. थैंक यू सो मच स्तुति, दैट मीन्स अ लॉट. डेटा इंटेंसिव आरसीज में इन्फो कैसे हैंडल करें? सो यू डोंट एक्चुअली नीड टू हैंडल अ लॉट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन इन द डेटा इंटेंसिव आरसीज बिकॉज द examiner will question you on ideas, not a lot on the data. And even if the examiner does question you on data, तो 4 questions में usually 4 से 5 डेटा पॉइंट्स पर ही क्वेश्चन कर सकता है. लेट्स से देयर आर 20 डेटा पॉइंट्स इन द पैसेज. नाउ यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर ऑल ऑफ देम व्हेन यू गिव इट अ फर्स्ट रीड. देयर फोकस ऑन द आइडियाज, फोकस ऑन द ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग सेंटेंसेज, ओके, ओपनिंग पैरा, इन पर फोकस करो. When you come to these questions that you feel are based on that data, you have a locational retention. है रफली ये पता है कि अच्छा ये ना पैरा 2 में पढ़ा था, या फिर ये ना बिगिनिंग ऑफ द पैसेज में था. लेट्स से सम स्टूडेंट्स से हमें ये भी रिटेन नहीं होता, पैरा 2 में था, तो ये तो रिटेन हो सकता है ना कि अच्छा ये शुरुआत के एरिया में था, इट वॉज देयर इन द बिगिनिंग. सो जस्ट गो टू दैट एरिया, राइट. क्वांट में बता दूँ, क्वांट आई एम अफ्रेड, क्वांट में तो मुझे भी काउंसलिंग की ज़रूरत होगी, राइट. सो क्वांट इज समथिंग दैट यू शुड आस्क रवि सर, स्वप्निल सर, ओके, ऑल ऑफ द अदर एक्सपर्ट टीचर्स, दे विल हेल्प यू. Apur sir, yes, Abhishek sir, they'll help you when it comes to quant. Okay, sometimes my mind goes to think some other thing, very rarely. Yes, this happens, Dhanush. So I remember there was this song that I heard and it was so addictive that when I sat to take a mock, okay, so I had to record the video solutions and I thought, let me take this as a mock. My god, that song was playing in my head. Okay, it was an earworm. We call such songs earworms. So how did I tackle it? See, if I start scolding myself, okay, if I start doing this, if I become self-critical at that stage, तो और difficult हो जाता है. So what did I do? Again, I realized this. I took a moment, okay, I paused, then I told myself that, you know what, this RC seems interesting. अच्छा लग रहा है पढ़ने में, टॉपिक भी अच्छा है, राइट. लेट मी जस्ट फोकस ऑन दिस एंड अटेम्प्ट द 4 क्वेश्चंस, राइट. सो बस मैंने मोमेंटरली अपना बस माइंड हटाया और मैंने बोला कि अभी इस पैसेज पे फोकस कर लेती हूँ, अपने आप चला गया वो, राइट. सो डोंट बी सेल्फ क्रिटिकल, just tell yourself, even if you have to fake it, just tell yourself, oh, this thing that is right in front of me is so interesting, let me just read it and attempt these 4 questions, and automatically you will come back to the present moment. That's it. ठीक है. Selective answering worked for you, great, that's good. Of any 1 RC, 4 RCs, that's great. 2 questions and still managed a 40. Absolutely, Shrey, this is what I'm also trying to highlight. Don't see any random YT videos. How much should I focus on the analysis of slot 1 and 2? Yes, so basically just look at the Rodha YT video and there also you can just see the pattern. Okay, don't place a lot of importance on the difficulty level कि अच्छा ये आगे तो बहुत difficult था, because वो slot 1 और 2 की बात है, maybe in your slot it won't be that difficult. So just see the question pattern, you can just see the Rodha YT videos, that's it. बस इतना पता कर लो. If let's say you have a friend who will just tell you this, then just get to know this from that friend, that's it. Okay, all right. So how many questions you attempt in CAT VRC? I am not a very I don't believe in attempting all the questions. Now that's just me, ठीक है. Everybody's strategy is different. So there are certain people who thrive in high attempt average accuracy scenarios. Okay, I thrive in average attempt high accuracy scenarios. That is my thing. So I usually go for 20 questions, and if I get 18 of them correct, which has been the case, मैं satisfied हो जाती हूँ. ठीक है. So this is what my attempts look like. And however, this is not the case with everybody. A lot of teachers, a lot of people, they thrive in these scenarios. So it's very individual, very personal. How to deal with anxiety in the last 3 days, not related to, yeah, that's okay. So for anxiety, as I suggested to you, this one is specifically for that. Just time पर, see what is anxiety? It's a loop of thoughts, right? हम अपने thoughts के loop में घूमने लगते हैं, and then it becomes sort of, we spiral, right? So how to stop that, to cut that? हमें प्रेजेंट मोमेंट के में आना है वापस उन थॉट्स के बजाय. सो देर आर अ नंबर ऑफ वेज टू डू दिस. वन इज दिस ग्राउंडिंग एक्सरसाइज. ओके, जस्ट फॉर अ मोमेंट रिमाइंड योर सेल्फ 5 things to see that you can see around you, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can touch, smell, taste. Another thing is that usually it's negative feelings, right? हमें लगता है I'll not do well in CAT. Okay, so that is what causes the anxiety. So just be a third person. Now, for instance, for a moment, I'm not Nikita, I'm a third person, and I'm very objectively evaluating the situation. Objectively evaluating मतलब कि मैं देखूंगी, अच्छा मेरे past mock scores सारे, not just recent, what is the evidence that they are giving me? Okay, are they pointing towards such drastic failure that I am imagining for myself? Do I have that evidence? Secondly, okay, not just CAT, but I have faced obstacles in my life. Have I failed at them, or have I been able to overcome such obstacles? There might have been situations where I felt this anxious before. Okay, for instance, maybe class 12 boards for some of you. इतनी ही anxiety हो रही थी, but what was the result? So objectively जब हम evaluate करते हैं ना, automatically we realize that a lot of what we are thinking is baseless. It is not rooted in reality, but just in this spiral. So this is one exercise. This is another exercise. Whatever works for you. Okay. Ipsita, it is not necessary to attempt a VA question first, right? In case you feel that, I can't read one whole RC passage straight away, then yes, you can warm up with a VA question. Cute crocodile as a question. अभी दोस्तों के साथ बाहर जाना चाहिए. You can hang out with them, given that you don't discuss your CAT prep, right? अगर hang out करके भी यही करना तो फिर मत करो. And it can, yes, reduce your anxiety if you just keep the conversations light. It can, absolutely. That is so good to know. And yes, all my blessings are with you. This goes without saying, okay? And I just want you to trust this, that you have to promise me. You've been now seeing me for almost a year, so promise me that you'll always remember this. Yeah, you're braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem, and you're smarter than you think. तो अभी लग रहा होगा that things might go wrong, things will go wrong, but trust this. Okay, you will sail through. Yes. So I will see you in the analysis. All the very best to all of you. Always remember this, you are worthy of all your desires, and CAT is just one milestone. Yes, there are going to be so many things that you wish to achieve, and you are worthy of all of them. It is already within you, all that ability, all that zest, all that drive. So just believe in your preparation so far, believe in yourself so far, go with courage, right? And you will sail through. Welcome. Yes, I also like Modern Family Stray. Okay, in the top 5th percentile. Okay, and full length mocks. I don't know why, but lately my mock scores in VRC, okay, has been fluctuating. So Aman, it could be anxiety, right? So just I would say take one sectional today or tomorrow where you are not keeping very high targets. So if, for instance, usually you attempt 4 RCs, in this sectional attempt 3 RCs, or if usually you go for all 8 VA, टुडे टारगेट 5 VA टुडे और टुमारो, तो एक बार थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स तरीके से निकल जाओगे ना एक मॉक से, एंड यू स्टिल स्कोर डिसेंट, you will realize that it is very doable. I have been doing this, I have this ability. So just take one relaxed mock and I'm sure it will help you. Thank you so much, Smriti, and welcome all of you. Thank you everybody. I'll now see you in the analysis, right? The journey doesn't end here. I'll see you for that as well, right? So karenge saath mein aur practice, and all the very best. Yes, Aman, so you don't, अगर हम पहले से ही सोचेंगे कि आई माइट मैस अप, दैट माइट बिकम्स सेल्फ फुलफिलिंग प्रोफेसी, राइट? तो मत सोचो ऐसे, एक थोड़ा सा रिलैक्सड होके देखो, ठीक है? थोड़ा सा कम टारगेट रखो, आई एम श्योर इट विल बेनिफिट यू. Any advice for slot 1 people? I'm sure slot 1 people have been waking up early in the morning, right? So as to prepare for attempting the test. Just don't have a very heavy breakfast, okay? That would be my advice. So don't have very heavy breakfast, and look at it like this, that you people are actually fortunate. Jaldi khatam ho jayega, okay? You don't have to wait. Let's say for like slot 2 people, you don't have to wait. So you'll be free earlier that way. You get to start celebrating, start relaxing earlier. So just this one piece of advice. And in case you feel you need an energy boost, then yes, you can have something. I am not a big fan of coffee because I feel usse fir ekdam se draining bhi ho jata hai after 2 hours. So I mean, if you need some energy boost, I would recommend matcha. If this sounds posh, I'm sorry, but matcha में evidence है that उसमें caffeine के साथ साथ there is another chemical which doesn't result in this crash that coffee brings. तो ये कर सकते हो अगर ज़रूरत है तो, ठीक है? एग्जाम डे टिप्स फॉर स्लॉट 2 योर पोजिशन रियली वेल. तुम लोग को प्रैक्टिस करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी हो वेकिंग अप अर्ली लाइक स्लॉट 1. ओके, सो जस्ट सब कुछ आराम से करना सुबह रिलैक्स तरीके से, बस जस्ट सी द ट्रैफिक इन एडवांस एंड गो. दैट्स इट. एंड अगेन डोंट हैव वेरी हैवी ब्रेकफास्ट, दिस होल्ड्स फॉर यू एज वेल, राइट? बहुत हैवी मील्स मत लेके जाओ, बट एडिक्वेट इनफ टू नॉट फील हंग्री ड्यूरिंग द टेस्ट. I planned a shopping day at the mall. Yay, that's the goal. Great. चलो, स्लॉट 3 को मैंने ऑलरेडी एडवाइस कर दिया. आप चिल ही करना सुबह से, बस पैटर्न पता कर लेना, ठीक है? दैट्स इट. फोर्थ RC सही है विद गुड एक्यूरेसी. 5 to 6 VA, ओके. अब मत, नो, डोंट चेंज योर स्ट्रैटेजी राइट नाउ. शिव प्रसाद, डोंट चेंज योर स्ट्रैटेजी राइट नाउ. नाउ इज़ नॉट द टाइम टू एक्सपेरिमेंट, ठीक है? अब ये सेट है, इसमें अच्छी एक्यूरेसी ट्राई करो. All right then, this is it from my side. I will see you now in the analysis. All the very best. All my wishes with you. Lots of love, lots of blessings. And it has been great teaching you all. I'll again see you for that sessions. Okay? Bye-bye.